Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved, and so holy friend. I appreciate you for joining me here again, for finding yourself within this universe of change, and in this moment, for being the perception of yourself. Right? To think of yourself, you, Shannon, as literally the perception of the universe as change. To be like, yeah, sure, there's constant change in the universe, but what is the one constant that I can kind of like focus on? What is the one constant I can like kind of think about? And then realizing that it's you. It's just it's just you have to focus on. And not in a way of like being self-centered, but realizing that you and your perception of self, your perception of this moment is happening, or such and such has changed, or I am feeling so and so, or I am doing this and this. That is your perception of the universe in this moment. I had an opportunity to speak to Ryan a little bit after our yoga session today, and he mentioned that a part of him feels like he's out of it or out of tune or etc. Right, like that feeling of like not being completely present with what it is you're doing or what it is you're going through right now. And that, again, is another perception of the universe of itself. That in this moment, you are allowed to have that perception, that feeling of, mm, now I feel like not myself. Now I feel like myself again. You want to see what I'm looking at? Hey, brother Aiden, I think you would like this especially, dude. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Look at this dude. Huh? Look at the top of it. I mean, it's probably decomposing right now. Definitely decomposing right now. It has released its spores, has a red like flesh. Just kind of curious. You know, I like to when you see a fruiting body, like this is just like the fruit, literally the fruiting body, the fruit that grows off of the tree. And the tree is the mycelium network that is literally underneath me right now. Like there's a brain, an experiencer underneath all of these massive fungal groups. The way that it broke, like the way that it connects to that stem, the amount of intricacy. Like this is in a way the perception of change as well. You know, where this fungal network, this mycelium network growing underneath the ground was in a certain way a perception of self, right? Like this is who I am. And then that self changed into this fungal body to release spores to, you know, continue the propagation of this fungus. And then it a human, another element of change came along, picked it after it like cast its spores down. Like if it's this folded up, that means this thing has been casting spores for a while now. And snapping it in half, like first looking at the intricacies of the decomposition at the top of it, and then to snap it like semi in half, and to look at parts of it with such attention. Like I don't know if it's looking so trippy on the camera as well. Like maybe a little bit, you know, as the shadows get cast. Oh, dude, what? What is there to be sad about sometimes? You know, and I'm not saying you deserve only to be happy. Of course not. I have sad days of my own as well. But goodness, the amount of intricacy and complexity and beauty within this world that we're a part of, it's awe-inspiring. Man, it feels disgusting. And yet, Human being. Oh, thank you for joining me, friends. It's so nice to have you here, Lisa. This is a beautiful background. I'm happy you like it. I literally had the stream set up in the same direction, just behind this wall, but this wall is so thick that it didn't allow any of the Wi-Fi through. So I was like, oh well, I guess I'm sitting here so I can actually have internet connection. Man, I slept in today. It feels good. I'm happy that you're feeling good about the bed. That feeling is familiar to me. To me too, Shannon. Unfortunately, to me too. But now I'm trying to recognize that feeling of disconnection as just a connection with the ultimate connection that is our perception in this moment. Be it disconnected or connected, we are allowed to perceive this experience. Thank you for choosing to be here with us today. I like to think of mushrooms as little mycelial fingers. I like to pick mushrooms and violently eat them into my yard. Spread your spores, my children. Turn my yard into a mushroom forest. I feel the exact same way. I love the smell of dirt. Me too. Like these, they smell more earthy, mushroomy, like than they smell like dirt. And what's interesting to me is like psychedelic mushrooms. The smell triggers something in me now. Where there's like a little bit of a like my body is like but with these, even though it's almost the same, there isn't that alarm, a little bit of alarm, like being caused in me, and it's something that's fascinating me. So every time I smell, I think about that. Beautiful background. Happy Easter to you, Silver. It's almost over, but I hope you have an amazing one. Glorious day to you. Aunt V, brother Jacob is joining us as well. Will you cook it? No, Silver. No, no. I wouldn't be opposed to eating a little, well, chewing a little bit of it and spitting it back out, but I don't think I'm going to be cooking any of it. Not just yet. Thank you for asking, brother Ryan. So nice to have you here. Make a mushroom sushi. I don't think is there something like mushroom sushi? Just raw mushrooms turned into sushi? I guess. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you're just bamboozling me, Silver. Have some bluey blues here yesterday. Found some bluey blues here yesterday. You feel blue? Is that what you're saying, Aunt P? Do let us know. We're here with you. Brother Isaac, nice to see you again. Wow, look at that mushroom. How crazy. So happy to share it with you, friends. What are your intentions of the mushroom? Fascination and perception. I feel that is where I want to focus our attention, our collective attention today, is just with perception. The fact that you are perceiving in this moment, right? Instead of trying to label our current perception as this or that, just to label it as, oh, yes, of course, I am perceiving. And to realize that the universe is change and that you are the perceiver of that change. So, no matter what it is you're experiencing, nothing will ever take away from you that ability to perceive what is in this moment and just what that makes us feel, right? So this is the thing I opened up to today, and it goes, the way of the heart begins with a recognition that you are already loved by the only source that matters. If the universe is change and you are the perception of it, recognize that you are already loved by the only source that matters. Hmm? Isn't that quite something? I appreciate you, friends, finding yourself here again. Ooh. Spending a moment allowing yourself to perceive reality. Trying, not forcing ourselves, but trying to be in a state of non judgment, non violence towards ourselves and towards others. I say that, and then my mind is like, you were very violent towards that mushroom. And I was like, no. It already casted its spores. What do you mean? Oh, it smelled dirt. Was that your back cracking? It was. It, it was, Shannon. It was my back cracking. I have a pretty crackly back, at least from what I've noticed from a kid. Like I remember being in like primary school, and then doing that as like a party trick. Is that what you call it? Where I'll just like twist, and then in the twist, like I've already cracked my back now, but in the twist, And people like, how do you do how do you do that? It's so crazy how as kids we find like these things. Like I can do this thing. Listen, I can make fart sounds with my hands. I've never been able to do that. I can make fart sounds with my back if I'm doing yoga, but I can't do it with my hands. Damn it! And like in that moment yesterday. So if I lift my lower back while keeping my upper back like firmly to the ground, and I lower my lower back slowly, there's like a movement of air, and then the air escapes at my upper back, and then it sounds like a fart sound, right? And I noticed this yesterday, and I was like, huh, yeah, it's neat. The juvenile side of myself is like, yeah, the back makes funny poop sounds. Perception of change. Like, just imagine how much you've changed from your perception as a kid. You know, the stuff that you saw in your world, the stuff that you saw in your family members, the stuff that you still see in yourself. You know, that kid never went away. You've just now started pretending that you're an adult. Mm. But we pretend with such certainty, we pretend with such ferocity sometimes that we almost hurt, you know, our inner child. And pretending that they don't even exist. And it's tragic. You know, let yourself perceive that side of yourself as well. You know, you'd surprise yourself what you might learn. Toasty is being summoned. I was literally talking about Toasty to my mom today. Like I mentioned to my mom the idea for the show I have. Like we were having a conversation about doing what it is you're saying you're gonna do, and how difficult it is for me sometimes to share the things that I want to do with you friends. Because of that, like I don't want to say I'll do this thing and then I don't do it, because then I'll be both betraying you friends and myself. But I want to share the ideas I have and the hopes and dreams I have for the future. And then in doing so, I have to share things that I want to do sometimes, even though those things might not come to fruition as I might expect them to. But in this scenario, in this voorbeeld example that I was trying to give my mom, I told her about the idea, you know, I told her about the Midnight Gospel format, and then I explained to her the format of the show that I would like to create and how I would like you friends to be a part of that. And I hope, I believe you friends will be gentle enough with me to allow me like 10 years of leeway when I say I'll do something, to be like, oh, let's see in 10, 20 years if Milt has done it yet. Just to keep ourselves aware, right? Like we're gonna say a lot of things. And I believe within infinity, technically all of them will come true. Hopefully it will come true in our infinity. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. Hey Joe. Take your time and rest. Let your body, mind, and heart rest. Love you, Shannon, Aiden, Milton, Reddit friends, thinking about your smiles. Thinking about yours. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for sharing a moment of us. We love and appreciate you. We have Broken joining us as well. You say you? Water Elon? No. No you. Only presence. Only the perception of this moment. So, with that as an intention, really embedding these little spikies into my hand, feeling each and every spike pressing into my hand as another node of connectivity with my highest self, and asking from that place of highest self to be open to perceive. To perceive in this moment what there is to see, what there is to feel, what there is to explore, what there is to understand, and to be open to the perception that others might have of that. Can you see it? No. I can see the nodes, but I can't see them on camera. Neat. Cheers to you, friends, to perception. Job's done. No going back now. 10 years? I can't give that kind of leeway. I forget the. So, Vina, that is why I write them down. Like all of the ideas I write them down. I have 300 and something Samsung notes. And a part of those Samsung notes, I have like notes within notes. Like, oh yes, ideas for music, ideas for art, ideas for books, ideas for classes, ideas for and then I just have like and I have 300 of those. So I don't remember them either sometimes, so for what it's worth. But I imagine, like my future self being like, okay, finally, I have time, or I have the resources, or I have the skills, or I have a team who has the skills, and then looking at all of this stuff again, and then just tripping out about the perception of change that I've experienced through myself and through the world and through the works of art that I want to share with the world as well. We're gonna do it, Sovina. Like, we're in it for the long run now. We're not stopping. People, me included, have so many attachments. We are afraid to dream because we fear that it might not happen. Melt of the bong. We're freaking bonging it up, dude. You're right, brother. That you're so right. Like, we're scared of dreaming. We're scared of saying things because like there is this perception again, of being judged if you don't do those things. And the way that I'm trying to think about it right now, again, within this, the universe is change, and you are the perception of that. As you're moving through this perception of change, the things you dream and the things you want for your life and the things you say, you are experiencing in this moment. And if you said them, if I was like, oh, I want to create a show one day, and this is going to be what the show is like, and this is what I want to do with you friends, and then as soon as I finish my sentence, there the show is created. All of the conversations around the show's creation was had. All of the works of art that was created for the shows, like a story has been created, has been decided upon, and now there's the show. I feel I would have a genuine sense of dis-ease or like aversion to it being that way. Like, the whole point again is watching that change unfold. Saying it in this day. Like, I believe the way that you should live your life, or rather, to rephrase it, if you want to live a balanced life within yourself, you should think, do, no, think, say, do. Right? If those three things are in alignment with one another, the things you think becomes the things you say. The things you say becomes the things you do. The things you do becomes the things you think. The things you think becomes the thing you say. And it becomes this self-reflective pattern of your behavior in every single day. And you get to see your entire world, you as the world, change around you as you keep yourself in this moment of perception. Thinking, saying, and then doing. It's wild. And it's so current. It's so something that happens right now. And it's something that happens over time. And it's something that you can reflect on afterwards. And it's something you can reflect on before it even happens. And it's something that you can reflect on through someone else. Someone else can reflect that thing from their perspective in those different ways through you. And it's just like layers and layers and layers of complexity. And we get all caught up in it, like we're so entangled, completely melted into the fabric of this universe that there is absolutely no way we could even separate ourselves if we wanted to. Not never mind the fact that we're not separate. But even if we wanted to be separate, that would be an impossibility, creating a whole other paradox. And then my mind goes like, what about with an infinity? There has to be no impossibility. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, please. How about you keep it to yourself now? Oh goodness. Well, the bug. Hey, Mariah, thank you for joining us, my friend. So taking away your Samsung account will effectively remove your memory, lol. Maybe part of my memory, Sovina. I mean, those fractals are still in there somewhere, right? Like, the reason I had an idea is because there was a certain firing of brain patterns. So those brain cells are still there. I might just not know how to get to that same brain pattern because you are a fractal generator. The things you've eaten, the things you've seen, the conversations you've had, the puppies you saw on your social media, the birds you saw outside your window, all of those things were these intricate infinities, like intricately influencing your immediate experience. You are the perception of that change. So as things change, as you change things about yourself, about your environment, about your foods, about your exercise, about your spiritual practices, etc., 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 into infinity, you change and you get these different fractals of experience. You get these different starting points for a fractal to start out of, and fractals being something that is self-replicative. The things that you experienced, I don't exactly know what the time frame on it is, if it's a day, if it's a week, if it's, a year, if it's a second of like stuff that has happened to you is influencing this fractal in the moment. And then that fractal takes you somewhere, and that somewhere can be an idea, a creative, imagining, a song, an idea for a business, an app. You added here, it creates that information within you, but it is within you. All of that is within you. And going through this life with this perception of I am an infinite being, and everything else is that infinity as well, and I get to experience literally something infinitely novel, infinitely new, infinitely beautiful, into infinity. It's like so much layers of vastness that our human minds make the least of it. It's like, actually, you are just a monkey that happened by random chance onto this planet, and your insignificance is so vast that within time you will be but a blip. And it just shows us that side of it, this logical reductionist approach to what we are as human beings. Sure, we're that as well. The animal side, the monkey. But being powered by divinity. Like if a computer is hardware, like actual atoms, then the electrons flowing through it would be the divine part of it. The part that is alive, the part that moves, the part that's you. You are the thing giving life to this experience. Creating a perception of it. Within infinite change, you are creating a perception of it. Which sounds impossible if you really think about it from a logical perspective. How the hell do we do that? How do we even get close to it? Maybe that's why we had to reduce the complexity of it to so many layers. And yet, here we are perceiving. You're freaking cool, yo. You're so super cool. Oh man, that's so freaking awesome. So neat. It connects back seamlessly. Melting into itself. Sure, sure, coming in and out. Mushrooms got that all natural internet going on. Yes, they do. Literally. The way that mycelium networks connect to themselves, connect to trees, connect to like plant root systems, is very much like internet connections, and they communicate via chemical pathways instead of normal electrons. So for example, if I give you more serotonin, it's like giving you more information. Or let's say actually dopamine versus cortisol. That would be a little bit easier to form a narrative around. Dopamine is the hormone within inside of you that creates a drive to get something done. And then after getting that thing done, there's like a secondary reward of, okay, I've done it, right? And I get to feel like it's been completed. And then cortisol would be the stress hormone. So feeling like you need to GTFO, like wherever it is you are right now is not the ideal situation for you. And the thing is, like feeling that way when you have to sit in like a wherever, if you have to be in a place where you cannot actually move, you don't have another choice in that moment, and just spending time in that cortisol, it is like a response of you're doing something wrong over and over and over again, and feeling that way can lead us to like pretty dark mindsets. So if these mycelium networks could only communicate in those two chemical, languages, if you will, and they probably can communicate in a lot more, they could tell this tree that things are good and it can continue doing its job reaching out into the sky, creating more branch systems by giving it dopamine or giving it cortisol, like hunkering down and spending more time on its immune system, or spending more time producing like resin to be actually able to keep itself safe from insects trying to bore into its core. Like it can literally do that. It can literally communicate the information one tree is experiencing. Like if there's an insect infestation on that tree, it will communicate through mycelium and root networks to the other trees that there is something they need to be aware of and they need to prepare for. And now we're doing the exact same thing with our internet. The fuck? What the fuck you mean? And it's everywhere. That internet is everywhere. Like as you're looking around you, you see these things growing, viscerally alive, conscious of its environment. It knows that there is certain places that has more sunlight than others. Like I feel we don't even know. I mean, we understand that the sun moves and there's like shadows being cast, but with such an understanding that if it doesn't understand, it dies. It straight up dies if it doesn't stay aware of its environment in a way that we are not. And I believe they're conscious. I do. I believe that plant is just as present as I am. Maybe even more so. Probably more so. Because it's literally rooted. I feel sometimes like I'm only barely attached to my body. And it helps to actually root ourselves into this moment of breath, this moment of acknowledging that you're sitting somewhere or standing somewhere, that you're safe and secure. The plant doesn't have to. It literally roots itself into the ground. And then just, with such reverence, with such awe, with such honesty, just reaches into light. It doesn't turn around and start growing down into the ground. It knows where its divinity meter lies. Up towards love, towards light. And it does it, without complaining, without expectation, without... There's a word I'm looking for that's almost like complaining. Lamenting. Is it lamenting? Like I'm imagining the tree, like every little bit it grows, it's just like, oh man, this fucking sucks. I guess it's just complaining. But no, it just doesn't. It wants to live. And I believe we are the same. That the reason your heart is beating in this moment, the reason you're breathing is because you have that same will to live. You just have so many other layers of stories going on at the same time. The earth thinks, oh yes, it does. Very much so. The earth thinks is you, Aiden. The Aiden that is you is the earth thinking right now. I forgot to tell you that the Haywire Hill monkeys are coming in hot. The most perfect I've seen in the wild. Without me. Brother Bear, that's how it be sometimes, right? And then we have to try and keep ourselves aware enough to love them as well, right? To know that presence, that awareness, that reaching for light is still there. They just might be doing it in a way that they know how to, even though it might be the wrong way to. That's the way they know how to get attention. And all we can do is see them for that, recognize them and love them as well. Try and be in a state of forgiveness, even as hard as it may be sometimes. Plot twist: the sun doesn't move. We move around the sun and spin at the same time. No way, Sylvina. No way. The sun doesn't, like... I'm trying to, like, poke at you, but my brain is, like, stopping me from saying anything that's stupid. Yeah. But technically the sun does move, though, Sylvina. It just doesn't move around us. We are flying through space like a spiral. And the sun is like at the center of that spiral, also spinning, and then we're spinning around it like this. It's like a thing happening as we're flying through, our spiral galaxy. So fast, like absurdly fast, like faster than you would be comfortable about thinking about. And yet we're like, oh yes, calm. look at look at this calm that we're experiencing right now. It feels good. Mm. Yeah, it's a trip. How the close, how close we look into the natural world, the more details we find. I saw an image of a human iris taken with an electron microscope. Broken, that stuff gives me hope, friend. When I see, I hope to actually have like technology like that. Like imagine having electron microscopes that are handheld. I mean, a part of myself wants to believe it's possible. A part of myself is like, but I feel I want to listen to this part of me. Where it's like, yeah. Good. Okay, thank you for the encouragement. Imagine how cool it would be just to be able to walk up to things like, I wonder how the cells of this plant looks, and then you're like, analyzes, and then shoop, it starts showing it to you. Are you from the south? Maybe. And then try to eat. What the hell? It's raining. I mean, it's dripping, but Nanny, there's a drop. Am I confused? Or is that not what the rain clouds look like? Thank you, I guess. Thank you. Beauty to you again, Savina. South Africa, no, I'm in California. No, I just maybe thought like South of America. Like we used ways of peeking from all over. You look like a young Eddie Vedder. That's the first time we've had an Eddie Vedder comment. Like me and my mom were actually having a conversation today about people akinning me to different Chris actors, and especially Heath Ledger. And Eddie Vedder is another one to add to it. John Africa brother. That's also a cool one. Thank you for joining us, Joe. How is it raining right now? The bees seem to be curious about it as well. There's like a beehive that lives in this wall, and it's a little lizard looking at the bees. But he looks too small to actually start eating bees. Man, I got to have such cool conversations with my mom today. Like we were baking some rusks, and then the power went off for like 2 hours. And during that 2 hour power outage, like I boiled some water with the gas stove and a kettle, and made me and my mom some coffee, and then we just had some chats. And one of the things we talked about is just the amount of birds and frogs and bees and lizards and just everything. And while we were having this conversation, there was actually a big, like a Vaughn, like those. Do they call them commander lizards? Not komodos, no. They're massive. We call them Lacavana in South Africa, but there was a big one. Like literally, its head is the size of my arm, like my palm, and like this is the size of its head. And then it has like a body about this size, and then it has a tail about twice that size again. I don't know if its feet would be like as big as my hands, but maybe like feet this size. And I was just so fascinated looking at the little dude. He wasn't very fascinated with me looking at him. He was like breathing heavy, and I'm like, I'll keep my space. But it was just amazing having these conversations with my mom, and in that way, I'm trying to see these power outages as, a beautiful thing as well. Thank you for the power up as I'm talking about that. I appreciate that, Toast. Just small differences I noticed as a northerner when I moved to South. That's interesting, Lisa. Would you like to share some of them? Thanks, brother. Thank you, Robbie. Have a good one. Debate. Thank you for the faith in humanity, faith in yourself, friend. I appreciate that. There he is. Toasty has been summoned. Don't they call soda pop? I do believe so. It's Coke or Dr. Pepper. I like that one a little bit more as well. Thank you for the gold. I appreciate that, friend. How nice of you. I appreciate it. Okay, debate. Yes, Michigan, I call it pop. Here's soda. Bluey blue hue. Mushrooms. Mmm. Yeah, that's what you want to see. Let's say it that way, right, Anvi? That's definitely what you want to see. Yep, I'm a southerner transplanted to the north. Back home, everything is Coke. Pop doesn't exist. Just everything is Coke. Hmm. Armias blur. It's almost like everything is like you call it bleach in America. We call it jik here in South Africa. Like the brand name has also become synonymous with the product itself. I guess it's good marketing. Getting an entire, like subsection of a population to just call every drink by your brand name. Or a Michigan corner store, they call it a party store. In the South, it's a convenience store. It's a convenience store in my mind as well. Michigan, a corner store or a party store. I've never heard the party store one. I'm the opposite, Isaac, north to north. I can do fart sounds with my hands, but I enjoy doing them with my mouth more. I almost made a fart sound. I was so close. Broken. Almost got me there. Where did you move to? Or and from, if you don't mind me asking, 500 people. Let's push the upvote button. Love is true, exactly the way it is as well. Thank you so much, Lisa. Michigan to Florida to Georgia. There he is. Good-looking man right there. Thank you, brother Bay. I'm just a mirror to you. You good-looking gentleman as well. I appreciate your love so much. I like doing them with my butt. I say, me too. Don't push too hard. I hope you had a nice Easter. You too. Just realized who you were. It's Lisa herself. Better, just another. Glad your family is feeling better. I'm so happy to feel hear you're feeling better. Like maybe it's like the little hump that you're over now. Morning Melt, where are you? What's behind you? New scenery. This is just a like we have this mini wall section separating the house from the place my mom bakes. It's been here the whole time. I've streamed, close to that little wall section with the. We call him a broodplant, I believe. I don't know what the English. A fern? I think it's a fern. Is it a fern? Might be a fern. Big fern. Like I streamed in front of that one, but I never actually streamed here. I was supposed to stream behind this wall with a little bit of a background, but this wall was just too thick for to let like any signals through, so came to the other side of it. Thank you for asking, and thank you for being here with us, Heather. It's nice to have you here again. How are you doing? Hi, pretty face. Hi, Mrs. Dabs. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? It's okay to not completely commit to something that made you exist at one time. Our minds change, ebb and flow. Sometimes it's in a year, sometimes it's tomorrow. So right, brother Toast. And again, right, the encouragement of us allowing ourselves to see that perception as the valuable thing. To see that change as you being able to perceive the change as the valuable thing instead of getting all caught up of like, oh, am I not me? Am I not this person? Am I not the same person I was yesterday? What are my friends gonna think of me if I'm not the same person, etc., etc., etc.? Story, story, story. You are, friend. You are. And you're doing fine. You really are. Love yourself enough to believe that. Thank you, Toast, for encouraging me to as well. I'm sick and I cried a lot this weekend, but it was actually amazing. We learn a lot from experiences like that, like especially the amount of respect we gain for ourselves when we go through some whack shit, right? Like if you go through some difficulties, if you heal from a sickness, if you get over a breakup, if you add your mental challenge, your transcendence here, there is this level of self-respect that you gain at the end of that, where you're like, yeah, all of this pain, but I was willing, able to perceive all of that and still transcend it, still come to the end of it, still be here on the other side of it. And knowing that that's going to be the case for every single difficulty that you ever go through. You are that powerful in this moment and in any moment that you will have going forward. Hoorah. Believe it. Feel it. I was sick and I cried a lot this weekend. Again, thank you for sharing. I missed you all and all of our friends. And we missed you, Heather. It's so nice to see you again. Genuinely. Thank you for joining us. Does Hayward, he'll get the. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Without being human. I'm curious if shedding away of my old ways of thinking will boost my white blood cell count. It's been very, very low over the last couple of years. I wonder if cortisol has anything to do with it. I wouldn't be surprised. And I was weirdly thinking about that as well. Me and my mom were having a conversation about my grandma who passed away from Alzheimer's. This grandma of mine couldn't handle any story outside of her narrative. Like literally anything that wasn't the way that she had convinced herself the world was, she would almost like lose her mind if you would tell that to her. And she developed Alzheimer's. And having this conversation with my mom today, I akined, and this might be extremely naive, and please do take it with like a kilogram of salt, but I felt that her developing Alzheimer's was almost her retraction away from the world and into her own. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that is what she needed. That was what her experience expected of her. Like her unwillingness to deal with the change within her world made her choose a world of her own. And I feel we can do the same with like our white blood cells. If we get sick over and over again, maybe there's something we're not learning within that sickness. Maybe there's something we're doing to ourselves, be it with diet, with exercise, with our hygiene. Like there's so many things that are so again interconnected, right? Like it's not just you do this thing and then this thing happens directly afterwards. It's like this ever melting of this thing influences this and this ends up influencing this and then that goes into that. And then Pippi shows up and comes and say hi to us. Comes and say hi to us. Washa mash mash. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Washa mash mash mash. Washa mash mash. B almost came for us. Hi puppies. Thank you for saying hi to us. Oh goodness, that means the recovery will be that much more sweet and welcome, proud, how you and your friend, right? That's what it's about. That's what it's about, Isaac. Thank you for encouraging our friends as well. Does Hayward he'll get cubed? Monkeys growing there. I know Texas has some, especially cow patties. Oh yes, some cubes, dude. Okay, cubes on cubes on cubes. Cubics of cubes, especially on cow patties. Yeah. There it was. That what I needed. Jovan, thank you for showing up for it, friend. Thank you for getting what you need here. And I encourage you to go away. That was the easiest way to say it. Like if you've gotten what you needed from these streams, and I feel you friends already do, and I appreciate you for that. Just spending a moment, right? Like again, echoing yesterday, all I ever expect is for you to be your perception, for you to be yourself, but to in that believing of yourself, feeling into yourself, to see the beauty in it, to feel like a sense of awe and happiness about that. I want you to be happy to be alive. That is all we ever want. And if there's something in you that you feel like you resonate with in this space, and you can take that like almost like a bang, and you can go and do something with that in the world, click off right now. Go away. Go away. It hurts my heart to say no. Please come back. I love you, friends, so much. Thank you. Thank you for spending a moment. Genuinely. It's a beautifully nice rainy day today. I'm gonna go smoke on my porch. Be right back. You know what? I'm going to channel brother Aiden as he's smoking on the porch by smoking a little bit as well. Like there's not much left. A little sprinkle. Channel him. That's what's interesting about your grandmom, El. I'm happy that you feel into that as well, Shannon. Like, and thank you for allowing me a moment to share that. Like, again, fractals. Like, that was a fractal that was experienced, but up until the moment that you mentioned that white blood cell thing, I didn't have access to that fractal. And then you allowed me. That's why when I say to you, friends, thank you for allowing me to share something. It's like I have all of these little locks in my head, and then you, friend, provide this beautiful key, and then this it unlocks that little lock, and then this little fractal comes out of it. So thank you for allowing me to share these things. Like without you, friends, I don't know what I would do. I feel I would be like 20 years behind. What? Yes. Sending Aiden some 420 frequency vibes. I really like my USB microscope. Me too, Uncle Becky. Like it's fantastic, dude. But I feel I would like to be able to look into cells. Like that is where I want the tech to be going. It's amazing the tech we can hold in our hands these days. On that level, you're right. So not only can you like you can literally plug that USB microscope into your cell phone, and then you can use your cell phone as a screen. You can go into your outside environment, and then you can get like up to 1,000x close to a plant or to a bug or something like that, and you can hold them in your hands already. So, you know what? That part of myself that was like, yeah, electron microscopes in your hand, it can be done. I feel like I can give it a little bit more credence. If you stream 24/7, you'd probably be 20 years behind on comments. So Vina, I'm like 23 minutes behind in the rare comments right now. I'm like trying to catch up. Thank you, friends, for being so patient with me. Means the recovery will be much more. I have a plethora of song lyrics in my Samsung Notes. A leather binder of all other ideas. I feel that as well with the bear. Like I knew you would be in the same frequency. Guess I was 20 minutes behind. I don't know if you heard me talk about the Samsung, Note thing as well, but you're perfectly in the moment, brother bear. we're we're like riding different parallels of the same moment. Fucking leveled up, Fred. Literally, you're constantly leveling up, and you're gonna never stop leveling up. And you leveling up lets all of us level up by you sharing your leveled upness. So thank you for that, Aunt B, Uncle Becky. I appreciate you, friends, so much for your constant evolution as well. Hitting the bong today. We do toast. Thank you for joining me. Whoop whoop. Happy Easter. So much love to you, French. Ninja Nanner and Ninja Eden being cold as well. Thinking of the Fruit family this morning. Thank you, Aunt P, for sending love into the universe. I appreciate that so much. I've never heard that, lol. The Michigan Southern Corner thing. I'm in New York. A party store sells a party stuff. A convenience store sells items of convenience, but at a higher cost for the convenience. Thank you, Heather, for that so beautifully. Heather, I love that so much. I've been kind of feeling, Isaac says, like taking a break. I've been indulging a lot with weed lately. I'm almost out of my supply, so maybe I should just stop when I'm out. Might be tempting to have just a little left over. So it's interesting you say that as well, Isaac, because as I was preparing for stream today, I had that exact same thought. Like almost word for word, where I was like, So maybe we have to take a little bit of a break again. Maybe like 2 weeks or so. I feel maybe I want to take a break until I wanted to say 18th of May because that's when I finish my yoga teacher training. But my birthday is on the 14th of May. I will see where I am when I'm there. Yeah? Yeah. What you're describing is layered out in Think and Grow Rich. Really? That information is on our hearts, brother. Right here. No book needs to teach us that which we already know. All we have to do is ask the right questions of ourselves. it's so lit. I smoked a bong hit for you as well, by the way. It's pouring. It must be so beautiful to smoke, you know, as you're just like looking at like life, literally life force, like liquid life falling on everything, and everything that wants liquid life is just like, give liquid life. The difference is your supply won't run out. That is Uncle Becky. Yeah, like, and I didn't want to say anything about that because my first thought was like, oh, Isaac, I would give you a kilogram of weed right now. Like, just like, here, go, kilogram, yes. A kilogram is 2 pounds, like a little bit over 2 pounds of weed. Yes, easy peasy. I would give that to you. Because I'm growing plants right now. You know what? Let me just leave it at that. So you're right, Uncle Becky. I won't ever run out. And I feel that is also why it's even more important for me to take occasional breaks. Because I don't need to. Right? Where, like, there could be this aversion. Wat jy gemaakt? Wat jy gemaakt? Huh? Look at this now. So she just got scolded by my mom. I think she pooped in the house or something again to get attention. And now, like, the first thing she does is she comes and sits on my lap. Wat maak jy? Wat maak jy, puppy? Probeer jy nou weer liefde by my kry? Het jy iets stout gedoen? Het jy iets stout gedoen, puppy? She knew she did something, right? Like, she's being so sus right now. Very, very suspect indeed. What you doing? What did you do, puppy? Mama? 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 This wall is impenetrable. No sound has let through. Nothing that I'm aware of. I'm just thinking about them. Thank you so much, Aunt B. I appreciate that. I saw the news and flooding in Durban. So sad. Love to SA. Thank you so much, friend. Yeah. It's one of those things, you know? You know. You know. So crazy. The small differences. I have to learn to do what I miss, Yader. I have to learn to do that I miss, Yader. Oh, that you are missed? Of course. Of course, my friend. Water Elon. Oh, I see. Finally, I got my mean-verse. Not mean-verse. Your mean-verse. Exactly, Water Elon. Exactly that, friend. Takes more willpower. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, takes more willpower. That's it, Brother Bear. I left my grinder outside on my porch and it got soaked. The kush is okay though. Rinses a liter of sweat. Thank you, Brother Bear, for like a moment of like an insight into the fractal that is Aiden right now. Man, I appreciate that. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. I don't believe that. Not necessarily, friend. I believe maybe you can think of it as you only have one life, as this experience that is the one living is the only one, right? Like there is no waiting for, there is no seeking for another, there is no experience outside of this one that is going to be any other than this one. You know, so in that way a second life does begin when you realize that infinite nature of yourself. But I don't think it should be interpreted in the sense of this life that you're living as a human is the only one ever, and then after it is just like nothing. Circumstantially, what I've experienced in my life is a little bit opposed to that, you know, mindset. Like it's jarring. It's actually jarring. The amount of information there is outside of just what we think of as human consciousness. It's so vast. It's so vast that we will never really be able to fathom it. Not even artificial intelligences would be able to. No matter, like, we would literally have to utilize every single atom of the entire universe's energy to try and process what you actually are. What consciousness actually is. It's surreal. And I believe, this is an experience we're choosing to have because we've had all of the others. And we found that this is one we needed in this moment within the infinity. This perception, our current circumstance, our current situation, be it financially, be it romantically, be it career wise, be it personal pursuit, be it dreams and aspirations, this moment of turmoil or certainty or uncertainty or expectation or wonder or hope, this is what you're supposed to be having. It makes me think about the future we're going into. Right? Like, if it's this way right now, the experiences we have during this time of our lives is going to be the things that shape our understanding, our intentions for our future. And with this whole epidemic, the world has changed. Things are no longer the way they've been. And with this extreme separation and isolation that we experience as humanity, within all of us, there came this understanding, this certainty that what is truly of value is human connection. Spending time with people that you love, if even for a moment, for a single exchange. And even if it's only one-sided, like, it is, spending that moment influences your entire fractal going forward. You're living multiple lives right now, in multiple universes, in multiple experiences, just in this body, right? Like, you could be playing games in an actual sense of, like, playing games on your phone or your computer. You could be reading books in other worlds you live in. You could be liking or looking at certain works of art, living in different people's minds or their creative styles. So many different worlds, so many different lives that you're already living. You're a multifaceted being by nature. But it's fractals that starts from the same unity. Living one life. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Fortified. I appreciate that, friend. That's interesting. I've actually been pondering that idea lately. And how does it make you feel, Lisa? Some things are impossible to achieve. I'm not sure we're trying to achieve anything other than this moment, right? Just trying to achieve presence within this moment, achieve gentle breath in this moment, achieve softness in your body, in the way you're holding your body, your jaw, your shoulders, your forehead, your brows, your neck, especially your hands. Just asking for some softness. We are pretty on edge a lot of the time. Lift my grinder. Life truly starts when you realize now is all you have. There we go. This moment that you're in. Have you had a chance to catch the new BBC series Green Planet? I don't think I have just yet, Uncle Becky. If it's on BBC, I don't think I have access to it. Is it on Netflix as well? I'm guessing. I'll you realize that. The quote is by Naval Replicant. Suggestion fortified. Thank you, friend. Have fun blasting off, dude. Thank you so much, Isaac. Hey, it's Dangerous Dyson himself. Man, you're still going strong. Danger- Dangerous Dyson. Yes. Yes, and thank you. Going strong is the only thing that I know how to do, friend. It's the only thing, at least I've been practicing how to do that, and this is the only thing that makes me want to keep doing it. Right? Like I've gone strong with fasting, and I've gone strong with like diet regimens, and I've gone strong with exercise routines, and I've gone strong with meditation practices, and I've you know the works. And I would have these moments where I'm experiencing a sense of benefit from what it is I'm committing to. Like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then a sharp decline in that feeling. And then when I have that sharp decline, I stop. And with what we've committed to here, I don't care what the experience is like, the feeling is like, because I understand that no matter what the perception is, love is true. That in this moment, if love was not true, I would not perceive anything. I would not be able to perceive this moment with you, friends, and you would not be perceiving this moment with me. But love is true, so we are. And I get to show up for that every single day. So I hope to keep going strong indefinitely because this is something that's important to me. And I look forward to seeing you in 100 years, Dangerous Dyson, being like, bro, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm gonna be like, love is true, dude. What do you mean? Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. It's nice having you here. Kira Burp, it's such a pleasure seeing you with us, sister. That is true about the spinning, which is why I think you tune into this when you're really drunk. When you close your eyes and you think you're traveling really, really fast until you open your eyes. Because you are. You are traveling really, really fast. Like just constantly, you know, like, oh, man. Yeah, let me know you can get deeper into that. Heath Ledger, yes, most definitely. Got that a lot, friend. It's a nice one. I love you, brother. We love you too. How do you become a millionaire? If I figure it out, I'll be sure to tell you, friend. I'll be sure. Like, you'll be first, dude. Andy Ooh. But you'll have to be here in this moment exactly as I figure it out. But then I'll tell you first, okay? Everybody might hear it at the same time, but you'll be the one that I don't know, friend. I don't think the point is to become a millionaire. The point is to help people, and in helping people, to be compensated for the work you do. And then if you become a millionaire in doing that, then great. But I think what you should identify with inside of yourself and with inside of life is how can I help people in my current skill set, in my current environment, and who I am, and then doing that. And come what may, even if you don't become a millionaire, at least you helped people versus trying to become a millionaire and hurting people in the process. So you got it, Andy Ooh. Just keep going, friend. I can't wait to see more of the in-depth communication we learn through plants and animals. The fact that mushrooms are all connected via organic electricity and other communicative inputs to animals that consume and that they can attach what a pack does during the day. It's crazy. They literally like analyze footsteps and stuff. Like as you walk through a forest, it knows about you. It's like, oh, there is a bipedal being walking in our environment. And it's like, Do you know Elon Musk? Yeah, it's my uncle. We're both from South Africa, so that's how it works. I know of Elon Musk. I can't say I know Elon Musk. Hopefully, I can have a conversation with him one day as well. What if we could translate the electric code of the sensation into a computer to help guide us? I don't think it's that far off. I think it might be coming along. So I'm imagining like these entire neural nodes built with inside of a forest where they basically input pins into like a forest floor, like different little electrodes into a cortex, if you will, and then to analyze and to ping into that, fungal network, tree root system network, a signal and see if there is any coherence that kind of comes out of that. Would be pretty cool, dude. Man, the wind is coming through is pretty cold. That's why Pippi is also like kind of like shaking on my lap right now. See if I can close you up a little bit more, sweetheart. It is kind of cold. Really? Really? You're gonna do me like that now, huh? Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll keep it for myself. Thank you. Uh, just saying hello to all of the lovely friends over here. Thank you, Shannon, for your attention, share love. I appreciate that so much. It's basically how the brain and nervous system works. We just don't have the knowledge yet to translate it to something that we can work with. This is right. We're figuring it out, though. We are figuring it out, Savina. That's the cool thing. Like, we're gonna figure it out first and foremost to help people who don't have access over their own limbs. Can't feed themselves, can't communicate, can't be a being. They're just like an inanimate observer, and giving them the power to interact with their worlds again is gonna be amazing. So like that's the initial hope for this technology. They've already captured the synth wave with diodes and the mushroom. So technically, they have like a synth wave attached, as you're saying, like with diodes to a mushroom. So the different electrical impulses between those two inputs are inputs to a synth wave. So it might just be like beep, 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 right? Like on the actual connection, but then it goes through a synth, and every one of those inputs become like a kim sham pom piling companing companam pam palam pom piling piling, and then like beep 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 beep, and then those add more kililing pom pom pansing pom pom piling. Yeah. But it's cool. It's freaking awesome. I really would like to play with synth waves as well at some point. Yeah, see? Also, this wind is like killing me. That's basically how the brain nervousness work. If, oof, you've been having trouble connecting with my higher self today, but spend some time out in the rain today, being inside, stuck to the computer, makes me feel isolated. I know I'm not, and you friends help. We love you, Isaac, and we're encouraging you to do that, which you just said. Like, go and walk out in the rain for a little bit, right? Have a towel nearby, or just sit, and looking outside the window at some trees swaying in the rain. Like, even if you only do that for 11 minutes and 11 seconds, that's usually how long I time myself. If I'm feeling in a little bit of a mood, I just go and like look at a tree, and I almost feel sometimes like the tree is staring me down and it's being like, yeah, bitch, you think you can look at me? And then I'm like, yeah, I will look at you. And then I like keep looking at it with like a checklist where I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna focus on leaves, and I'm like, yes, like leaves. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start from a big branch, and then I'm going to keep following that branch until I get to the smallest point of that branch. And then I do that, going through all of the branches, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna see infinity symbols, and then I just start pattern recognizing all of the infinity symbols. And then I feel like there is such a recognition of the sheer magnificence of beauty and life and the experience of just paying attention that that your higher self is like, oh wait, dude, what do you mean you have trouble? Where have you ever not been connected? If you were not connected, you were just like, blub, cease to be. I think I'm gonna go for a rain hike today. Stay warm, brother Bear. That's all I want to say to you. Like 100% do that, but make sure you stay warm. And then tell us how it was. Like, especially tell us how nature rejoices with all of the water falling on it. How it has a real sense of gratitude. Thank you for letting me imagine that, brother Bear. Time outside will help, it really will. Which causes me to smoke during the day to connect to myself easier and feel more calm. But then I kind of feel like I'm avoiding things. It does. I just want to make sure I've got a handle on it. But I've got to work this job for 3 years. I'll endure though. Yes, you will, brother Bear. You are infinite. And you're going to learn an infinite amount doing the same job for the next 3 years. And these skills that you're gaining are going to be necessary. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. It does. Just want to make sure I gotta again. Shannon, so much love to you again, friend. How are things going with your family? Staying with you? They just don't respect me or boundaries, so I'm trying to change my mindset because they have no interest in inner growth. Thank you, sister, for thinking of me. That was sweet. Sending you light and love. Thank you, Lisa, for having opened up to us and for connecting to that fractal. You see, keys, locks, different fractals that are always there, and we're just unaware. I feel that, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you for just being yourself throughout all of that. Imagine a healing safety bubble around you. You are divine. So much love to you, friend. So thoughtful. I hope at least in your heart you feel fulfillment and success knowing you're giving effort to everybody else and that serves them. If it isn't reciprocated, that can be hurtful. But know you are strong and gracious. So beautifully put. Thank you, Brother Isaac. It makes me feel like I need to get myself aligned, which I'm in the process of now, Melt, to be honest. Friend, what's most important is that you're just honest with your feeling self in this moment. So thank you for that. It's growing. It's you growing. And like the beauty of growing is that it's never something that ceases. Like to the day I die, I'm going to continue growing. Right? Like I spend a lot of time. Like I feel sometimes more time than I should be thinking about dying. In the context of really imagining myself on my deathbed. Like and I'm in that moment of like I have 5 breaths left. Goodness. It's a whole trip. What the hell? I didn't sign. Did I? I mean, I did technically sign up to feel like I'm getting goosebumps. Can it show? Not really that much. And just feeling, in that moment as well, that there is just this experiencer, and I learn just by even thinking about it. So how much more will I learn by being in that state? I feel like we need to align it. It's both streams on the same screen. It's kind of like Melt is the news anchor and the report. Thank you so much for that, Mr. I love it. Good vibes, man. Big truth. Thank you for feeling the love. Boog, I appreciate you, friends. Correspond with each other. Corresponding with each other. Oh man, I mean, it would be a trip. It would be a trip if you could line them up where it sounds like I'm answering my own questions as I'm asking them. I understand that I can that completely, friend. That is really difficult. It can be a really lonely feeling. I'm here with you. Love you, sending you lots of love and a warm hug. Thank you for that, Shannon. So much, friends. Since when did the news anchor get blown around like they are in a hurricane? 2022. Well, today, thank you for asking. How are you feeling? Love is true. This dude is office rocker. I love it. Maestro. Maestro, mustache maestro. Maestro? Maybe that's the right way to say it. Maybe. Maybe I'm off my rocker. What is so good about being on the rocker, friend? You know, like it's great and all to constantly try and balance myself in this way that, society expects me to. All of them in a row balancing on their rockers. But damn it, as soon as I got off the rocker, I noticed that there was a whole world, dude. And I started walking around instead of just rocking back and forth. And I started looking at things and experiencing them for myself, you know. What's so good about being on your rocker? I ask. Thank you, Fred, for sharing some of your love with us. Maestro, I'm sending you love, dude. Just arriving at work. Love to all of you high and mediocre quality humans. There's only high quality humans, brother bear. Thank you so much for being a high quality human yourself. And the poor quality humans, even the poor quality humans, all of them, Shannon. Humans. Humans as they are, humans as they come. Thank you, Melt and friends. Your kind encouragement is my daily adrenaline. Love is true. Thank you for lighting your fire and for sharing it with the world. I appreciate you, Lisa. Love you, dear friend. Are you in a wheelchair? No, friend. Fortunately, I almost said my work's leg. My legs work. Johnny Soup. I'm very grateful for that. Now I'm imagining a future where, people whose legs don't work have like Neuralinks, and then their Neuralinks are like connected to a robotic like support system that attaches to their core and their lower back, not physically, just with straps, for example. And then it like helps them actually walk. Like we already have these robots that helps us lift extremely heavy things like exosuits that come around your body, and then you can move your body kind of normal like, but lifting absurd weights. I mean, like the future we're moving into is gonna be radical, and I really look forward to experiencing it with a few friends. Love you too, sister. Thank you for being my tallest, most pierced and thoughtful friend. So much love. Did you just call me Shannon? How dare you? Did I, Solvina? I don't believe so. In this moment, it's Savina, so it must have been Savina in that moment, right? Right? Please, right? All my love to the quality humans. All love to all people. We can only do good by loving one another. Hating on one another, even if we're receiving hate, isn't going to solve anything. The technology exists now. In some yak, ims, imnom, in, insomniac. The way you spelled your name is, I guess, intentional, so you can actually get it like that. But insomniac, yes, we do. We already have that technology, but now it's going to become widespread. It's going to become something that is actually going to change human lives. A little dove dude just came and landed on the roof. It's so, dude. It looks kind of scrawny. I think it might be new. You new? You just like spawned a few months ago? Welcome, dude. This is Earth. We're straight up vibing, especially in this spot. There's like gang food. You can help yourself. Eat whatever. You just go around, you eat stuff, man. You can like build nests in the trees. They don't mind. I think they might actually like it. A part of me hopes, at least. Any more advice? Like stay away from. I don't know if like bees are a problem. Okay, yeah, bees maybe was a problem. Thank you, Natalie, for joining me. So nice having you here. It will cost you. It will, but hopefully, these costs will be subsidized by the quality of life that they will bring to humans. I remember the old movie Airplane. Did you just call me Shirley? Chomp, don't want no help, Chomp. Don't get no help. So well, like most of that's going over my head. I don't think I've seen it, but thank you for sharing that with us, Natalie. So much love to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Hey, it's Candace. I'm just dropping by to say hello. Going to be a busy morning, busy working on the garden today. Miss and love all of you. Love you, Candace. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing a little bit of it as well. I hope it's going well. I'm sure it is. You know, like if you're gardening, that's a good sign. And now it's actually like your hot season as well, so you're actually going to get the benefits of actually being able to grow stuff, creating music. I think I'm gonna go for Rain Ike. Okay, yeah. Thank you for the love, Aunt V. I appreciate that so much. Yes, yes, yes. Did you call me shit? I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Candace, love you. Lisa is saying love you, Candace. Thank you for spending a moment with us today. Ermias Blur, friends. Ermias Blur. Feel yourself rooted. Feel yourself as an emotional, creative being. Feel yourself as a being that has the will to do things. Feel yourself as a being that is compassionate and loving. Feel yourself as a being that has a voice, can say the things he wants to say, she wants to say, they want to say, can hear the things that needs to be heard. A being that has insight and intuition, and a being that is ever connected to the whole. You are loved, appreciated, and seen in this moment, friend. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a moment, for being in this moment with me. I'll make sure to be warm. I'll go at summer hikes in just shorts, but it's like 4 degrees out, so I'm definitely gonna bring a raincoat and pants today. Thank you for the way for taking care of yourself. That was the first thing I was thinking about as well. Like it was probably gonna be icy, and that's like close to freezing. So take care of yourself. Summer rainy hikes like those, I would be okay with, like just encouraging you, like you go ahead, dude. But with the cold alongside, be safe, brother bear, and have a good one. What's in a name? Do we give the same value to as an individual to Estian as Meltmore? I feel Estian has so much stuff attached to it, right? Thank you for that question as well, Natalie. When it rains, madam, when it rains, like that's the thing. I feel the Meltmore name is something that I've intentionally chosen from a perspective of I actually get to choose who I am, right? Like it was this recognition that I am more than what my parents have been telling me I am. I am more than Estian is. I am Meltmore. Like I just now attached a new little fractal of what Meltmore means to me. It was a choice to choose that name, and I feel in some ways that the name chose me, where Estian was this name that has been projected onto the being that I am. Like it was the name that my parents gave me, and the name that my peers at school called me when they made fun of me, and the names I heard when like there was a sense of hate in a voice, if you will. It's like there's so much context attached to that name for me that I feel now creating a new context, choosing a new context around the name Meltmore for myself. There's a whole new fractal that I'm choosing, and Meltmore, the initials thereof collapses into an infinity symbol. Like I feel, and I didn't even know that initially. Like when I first designed the Meltmore logo, I made two M's because that's the way it made sense to me. I was like, yeah, of course, Melt more, two M's, great. And then I had this adventure, transformative experience, like with a friend, where we had conversations and especially had a moment of recognition of the infinity. And the next morning, I woke up and realized that a sharp infinity symbol right? That symbol, that symbol is Meltmore, is those two M's, is that infinity, is my side and the rest of infinity, is you and me, is body and consciousness, is spirit, is nature and spirit, is love and fear, is separation and unity. It is a duality, but it's a oneness. It's an infinity. And it's been such a process. So every single time someone uses the name Meltmore to address me, all of these little fractal connections to what that name means to me comes back in that moment, where all of the fractal connections that Estian meant to me might come back to me in this moment, and it might not be the thing that serves me in this moment as much as this chosen name will. I hope that answers your question, Natalie. Thank you for asking that. Take extra great care of yourself today. Thank you so much for that encouragement. On B, when I hear SDN, I think powerful. I don't know why. It's a beautiful name with a beautiful soul. He's my brother, Lisa. And I love your name as well, friend. So much. Like, that's the thing, you know, and within infinity, everything. So I am Estian in the same capacity that I'm Meltmore, in the same capacity that you are Lisa, in the same capacity my real name isn't even Estian. Like, that's just what my parents called me because I have the same name as my dad, which is Christian. So that is technically my name. So I am Christian as well. And I'm Stefan as well, which is also one of my names. There is no separation. And I know that. It's just the perception of change that I'm attaching to the name I've chosen. Hmm? Oh, it makes me so much love. Not viewed as the same entity, but just the equal value as individual under their own right. And they are, right? Like Estian, I feel like there's many times that I spend time looking at Estian, where I'm like, huh. Like I feel oddly enough like I'm not Estian right now. Which is it's kind of surreal. Like especially as soon as I said like I'm looking at Estian, there was this sense of again separation within that infinity. Like, oh, there's Estian, and now here's me. I looking at Estian, having lived through Estian. What is in that order? Drink the water completely. Hydrate. You do, friends, please. And melt delicious melty. Thank you for that, Savina. I appreciate it. Thank you. Will do. Aunt P, you did the same. Please do. The struggle between rule and spirit repeats itself in every stage of life. Are there claws to dig upwards? Is there a surface that can be broken to emerge free? Palmetto, I believe that you were fundamentally a unity as oneness, right? As that infinity, as maybe a circle. And then the only way for you to have experienced true love, true true experience outside of your knowing was to collapse that circle and to make it an infinity symbol, right? Like still a circle, but it collapses into that infinity symbol. And then unity, that oneness, separated so it can experience reunification. So even though you are constantly in that back and forth loop and it can feel like you're stuck in that, you want to scratch out, emerge to the surface, you just want to melt through that. It is you. It is you, and you're choosing to be here, to be separate in the same capacity that you've chosen to be that oneness, that all-knowingness. And with your all-knowingness, you have chosen to be here separate. And with the separateness, you have, and you're gonna go back, and you're gonna come here, or you're gonna go back into infinity. And it feels like a paradox. And I think in a lot of ways that's kind of the point. Like we're not supposed to understand. You're not supposed to to fathom what infinity actually is. You asked for everything, and now you're getting it, friend. Asked for everything, and now you're getting it. Wholesome homies, unite. Thank you for uniting with us. Our life is dependent on our perception. That is what this whole stream was about, friend. Thank you for resonating with that wisdom. I will now, hey, may I see your surroundings? Sure, friend. Let me show you what I've been looking at. So, there's like the side of the house and these plants, and then like technically this is where the clothes get hanged, and then there's this magnificent thing, geyser, gas bottle, like that's my room, that whole little building, and then this is the computer room. That's my bathroom. Then this is the wall I was talking about. Yeah. Technically limited surroundings right now, but thank you for asking, friend. And thank you for being curious enough. How old are you? I don't know, friend. The only answer that makes sense to me is infinity. But if you are wondering how old my body is, 23. 23 years old, soon to be 24 years old, friend. Thank you for asking, Safe Farm. It's interesting that you mention the circle when you're speaking of infinity symbol. When a circle is itself a symbol of infinity going around and around constantly, which is like a life cycle. Exactly. The one drop, that is the original understanding. But within the reality we're in right now, it's an infinity. So it's weird because it's like you took one and then you made it infinity. That is how powerful you are as God. Do you understand? Do you see the layers of human recognition of that truth and how we've tried to tell ourselves that in so many different ways? It's literally okay. You know what? Let's leave it at that. I love you, friends, and I appreciate you showing up with me. Have an amazing day. Do it. Do it. Like, oh yeah, Melt. Just because you told me to have an amazing day, I'm the type that doesn't have an amazing day when people tell me to. So how about you don't have an amazing day? Fuck hell, Melt. Now that you, I love you, friends, so much. Thank you for joining me, Jovan. Thank you for being goofy with me, friend, for spending this moment. I appreciate you so much. Love and light to you. Love you, Shannon. Have a good one, friends. Thank you so much for the love.